Hey, TingTingin here. Today, Stable Diffusion developers just recently released their website in beta. I just want to make this quick video. It's just going to be a quick run through of the features and stuff that you can expect when you use it, because this website is the website that eventually you guys will get to use when it goes open. Pricing is $10 per 1,000 generations. So that works out to about 1 cent per generation, and a generation, one 512 by 512 image at 50 steps is what a generation is. If you increase the steps on the image, or if you generate more images, it costs more. There's like a chart here that you can see exactly how it scales and stuff. Compared to DALL-E is about 3 cents per image. So Stable Diffusion is about 3 times cheaper than DALL-E. Also, you have more control over how many images you choose to generate, like what steps you want to use, what settings you want to use to change the pricing. You will eventually be able to run Stable Diffusion on your own PC for free. So I'm really excited for that. Also, this video was recorded on August 20th, 2022. So keep that in mind, because Stable Diffusion is constantly improving. So like, yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, we're on the Stable Diffusion website here. You can see, if you watch any of my other videos about Stable Diffusion, traditionally you have to use Discord in order to be able to interact with it. With this, it took a lot of the features and stuff from Discord and it turned it into buttons and toggles and stuff. Instead of setting the thing with this on Discord with -N, you can just change your numbers here to control the number of images. This is steps. So steps is like how long it takes to generate the image. So the more steps, the more it should be, but the more expensive it is as well. You can see here, you can change the resolution, you can change the width, you can change the height. So let me actually just generate something really quick. I'm just going to go dog photo. Just do a photo of a dog. So these are basic settings. I'm just going to generate one image. Also, it generates fast, but it's the same as the Discord speed. So if you saw any of that, it's the same speed. Should take like a few seconds to generate this. Well, if you use DALL-E or Midjourney, this would be surprising, but if you use Stable Diffusion, then you already know that this is how fast it is. So you can see here, image of a dog, pretty nice. So I can then do that same generation. So if I was on Discord, once I send this in, it's gone. And I have to go back and search for where the thing is and copy the command again and then send it over. With this, it just stays here. So now if I want to generate more images, the max is 9, by the way. Keep in mind, in case you're wondering, if you generate more images, if it will take longer, no, it won't. It will take the same amount of time. What I believe is that when you generate 9, they simply just put it on 9 GPUs simultaneously. So it generates at the same speed. I'm just going to generate it here, even though this costs credits for me to do this. I'm going to do it. So 9 images, 512 by 512, regular settings. Okay, generate. It should take about the exact same amount of time as the last one. And yeah, you can see. So wasted credits because it did exactly what I said it was going to do. But you can see what happens here. The 1 image and 9 images, they generate at the same speed. They simply just split it in multiple GPUs when you do that. And you can see what the dog photos look like here. Oh, I think one of the issues. How do you get out of this? This is beta. I'm sure they'll have that fixed, unless I'm stupid and there's actually an easy way to do this, but I don't know how to go back to the image. You can see that when you generate the image at 9 versus 4, it's the exact same. I didn't really talk about this in my last video because they weren't really about that, but you can actually change the size of the images here. So I can generate an image of a dog here. Let's do 2 images. Let's be conservative, but not too crazy. Dog photo. It's nice because you could just, if I don't like these, I can just press the button again, as opposed to in Discord where you'd have to look for the command, copy it, paste it over again, make sure you don't copy the wrong thing, get an error and all of this stuff. You can just send it in. But I think this would be a good time to explain CFG scale and steps, since these are probably the ones that people are most interested in as to how they work. So CFG scale, I think they actually say it here, but it basically is how tied the image is to your prompt. I'll show you a little video here that I made, and you can see going from 0 to 30 how it affects the image, and it's a full grid of images, so you can get a real sense for how it works, and you'll see what it really does, right? It starts off at noise. It doesn't really have anything, and it slowly graduates more and more to an actual coherent image, and then it also starts to affect the quality of the image sometimes. Sometimes it makes the image worse, sometimes it makes it better. One thing that's interesting is it's not as simple as the more you have, the better it is. Sometimes you increase by 1 and it gets better, but increase by another one, it gets worse. Increase by 1, it gets better again. So it's like really like all over the place. It's something you have to mess around with in order to see how it works. Step, this is another thing. Steps increases like quality, I guess, of the image or how long it takes, but there's realistic limits to this, and oftentimes more steps doesn't necessarily mean more better. One thing is when your CFG is higher and you start having artifacts like this, which is what happens when your CFG is too high, increasing the steps can fix it. Let me give you an example. So screenshot from the Terminator 1984, Emma Watson as the Terminator. Okay, let's do that. You can see here, right, we generated an image and her face is like really garbled. And that's because of the high CFG. When you increase the CFG, stuff like this has a higher chance actually happening. You're basically forcing the prompt to line up what you've put in, but sometimes forcing that can cause more problems with the image and make it where the image doesn't exactly look correct. So what the seed is the noise or the randomness in the image. If I click this button again with the same seed, because I've turned this on. If I click this here, it's actually going to generate the exact same image. So let me show you what I mean. I type it in there. You can see that absolutely nothing happened. It literally gave me the same image again. So what does that mean? It means that if I make any changes, I know that those changes affected the image. Because I know if I just click this button, I get back the same image. I'm going to take the steps. I'm going to max it out. More than likely, maxing it out isn't necessary, but you'll see what effect steps has on the image because I'm supposed to get the same image if I change nothing. So any change that happens to the image is because of steps. You understand? So anyway, I'm just going to click this real quick here. Steps increases the time to generate. So generating more images doesn't make it take longer, but steps makes it take longer. So that's something to think about right there. Oh, and now you can see what I mean, right? Immediately, her face looks way better. And I'm pretty sure you don't have to go as high as 150. And in fact, let me just test that really quick. I'm going to go to 75. Yeah, you can see that there's basically no difference. 150 is often overkill to do, but 75 is probably, I feel like if I start going lower than this, that's when you start seeing problems. But this is a good way to understand what CFG does, right? Steps makes it so it takes longer to do the image, which can give more detail, but not always. And you can see that often if you go all the way up to 150, that's just overkill. And it's actually just going to hurt the image rather than make it better. And CFG scale forces the image to align more with your prompt. That can cause artifacts and stuff to appear in the image because you're forcing the algorithm to do something that it can't comfortably do, which can cause that issue. But it doesn't always cause that problem, and you're not always going to use CFG scale in that way. Sometimes you can use CFG scale just to give more contrast or sharpness to the image. It's a bit, CFG scale is probably the most flexible one. Like for example, I can show you this image here, and you'll notice with this dog, it looks pretty nice, but there's a big issue where he has two noses. If I just come here now, I increase the CFG scale to 14, you'll notice that if I rerun this prompt now, and see? It changes. But not just that, his nose is gone, but also the whole image changed, right? Other parts of the image changed as well. His eyes actually had more detail in it. Again, CFG scale is not like steps, where it makes it take longer when it comes to deciding for the image. Steps is making the computation take longer, which can increase the quality. Not always, but it can. CFG scale is forcing the thing to apply to your prompt more. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean more quality, and in fact, sometimes it can mean less quality, right? So CFG scale is more all over the place. In general, you want to change the CFG scale if the image is mostly what you want and it's not 100% there. You can adjust it up or down. It's not as simple as just going up. Sometimes going down might be what you want, and it's not as simple as saying I'm at 7 and I went up to 10, the image got better, and I went to 11, it got worse, I should stop. No. You might go up to 12, it's even better. Okay, that's how it works. And again, if you saw the image that I showed you there, you can see it's not exactly consistent. So CFG scale is heavily dependent on what you're prompting, what you're trying to do. So now we're going to try something else. Let's actually just try to use the site more normally now, right? Let's do some Nendroids. Nendodroid. So I'll do 4 images since that seems like a reasonable amount. Do 7. So now I'm just using the site like normally, right? I don't know what's going to happen here. I'll see what comes out. Well, this was a fail. Let me try this again. Okay. So I typed in Nendroid, which is like this character thing, this little toy thing. And it doesn't look like what I wanted at all. I just got a bunch of pictures of Gal Gadot. So first thing I'm going to do here is make sure I didn't misspell anything. Nendodroid. There's a few options I have here. I can affect the CFG scale to try to see if that makes it work. Or I can add more words to the prompt to try to force her to become a Nendroid. So I'm going to add another way you can say Nendroid or similar type of thing. So I'm going to say Funko Pop, and then I'll add an action figure, and I'll add toy. Now, it definitely looks like a Funko Pop. However, I want it to look more like her. So here's what you can do to try to give more of that Gal Gadot. Okay, I just checked my thing and I actually did misspell the thing. It was supposed to be Nendroid, not Nendodroid. You can see here, she definitely looks a lot more like Gal Gadot. And again, you can see that she looks a lot like Wonder Woman because Gal Gadot obviously looks a lot like plays Wonder Woman, so you get a lot of that stuff. So if you're getting stuff like that, what you can do to just help it along, if Wonder Woman is already kind of sneaking into the data, you can just go Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman because it's already sneaking in anyway, and this will just increase the fidelity of the thing because it's already pulling from those sources. You understand? So I'm gonna do this. Gonna go again. Okay, and you can see now the fidelity of the images went up. And the reason why is you can always think of it as they're pulling from Gal Gadot, and there's this rich source of information of Gal Gadot dressed in a particular way that it wasn't getting to pull from because I didn't prompt it. Now that I prompted that, it becomes a lot more clear. right? It knows more. It's giving her the hair. She has a suit on. She has a Wonder Woman, everything. So now we're gonna do, because a Funko Pop is very 3D and CG and stuff, even though it's a real photo, one thing that we can add is we can add CG Society. CG Society is like a website. It has a lot of different 3D models and art and stuff. You can also add an Octane render. Now you want to talk about lighting, so I'll add like studio lighting. See this one right here? Definitely has more of her aesthetic. Adding them in can add a lot of detail back to the image. So you can see like what you can do here. You can even do something. I can now come here, replace Gal Gadot. Now let's just add, say, Margot Robbie. I'm not going to change her Wonder Woman part. I'm going to leave that in. I'm just going to leave her as Wonder Woman. And now, right? I mean, it's a little hard, I would say, to tell the difference because Funko Pops is so like squarical and stuff. It's hard to tell, but this one, I would say at the very least, looks more like Margot Robbie than it does Gal Gadot. Harley Quinn. Now I try it. Yeah. And now definitely this looks more like how you'd expect Margot Robbie to look. So let's do Gal Gadot, but this time I'm going to try to do an anime style. So I want to show you how you would do something like that real quick before I end. You can go Gal Gadot, and if you just go Gal Gadot as a anime character and Dream, more than likely, I think this is not going to look good. I don't know for sure, but I think it's not going to look good. So we'll see. Yeah, you could see here, I'd say like this one, you know, mostly there. This one, not so much. This one just looks like you took Gal Gadot. She looks too real to be an anime character there, right? It doesn't look exactly correct. In general, the word anime is too broad of a category, and you don't really get high quality anime looking images. Let me show you what you would actually want to do. Gal Gadot by Studio Ghibli. So Studio Ghibli is a studio that makes a lot of anime. They have higher quality anime and stuff. All right, so you look at these images here. Again, are these necessarily the most insane images? No. The anime style can be a little bit harder for it to do, so you kind of need to know some tricks, but Studio Ghibli, I'd say this image definitely looks better, but the rest of these don't necessarily, they don't have that feel that you're going for, right? So here's another thing you can do, is I'll add artists that do anime at higher quality as well. Makoto Shinkai, Takashi Takeuchi, right? This guy, and you can see right what I mean, right? Like this one especially, more starts to look like a coherent version of Gal Gadot inside of an anime. Yeah, so I changed around the prompt a little bit just to get a slightly different look, and you can kind of see what I'm dealing with here. The different styles you can get if you just work around with the prompt a little bit, how different it really ends up looking here, especially like this one, I think. Looks pretty cool, right? You can work on this even more and give it a more kind of painter look and stuff. That was a first look at Stable Diffusion website. Guys, eventually this website is going to be going public. Right now, it definitely has some issues and kinks to work out before it releases for people and stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where they go because, again, as I said, just about like a week or so ago, they created the Discord for Stable Diffusion. Then they ran the test, they improved the model. Now they're about to launch a website. In a few, they're going to release Stable Diffusion for people to use on their systems locally and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, guys, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you like this video, you might like my other two Stable Diffusion videos. My glasses on my battery died, so rip, but I'll check you in the next video, guys. Check out the other videos, and yeah,